Today we're going to be making a toy car, and the first step to doing this is to first pick a blueprint which shows you the side, the front, and the top view of whatever vehicle or machine you want to model. I did it by going into Google Images and typing in car blueprint, and that's, the blueprint which popped up for me. Once you have a blueprint and you've saved it to some location on your computer, you can enter into SketchUp, go to File, Import, and navigate to wherever you saved the file. For me, that's on my desktop. I'm going to look for it right here, model car to build JPEG, and say import, and place the blueprint at the origin. So right now this blueprint is a group, meaning that we can draw over it without objects or lines sticking to it. I suggest starting modeling your car by looking at the side view. What you're going to want to do is use the combination of the line tool up here and the 2-point arc to trace the outline of the car's body. So I'm going to start with the top of the hood, and because I'm doing this quickly, it's not going to be as precise as the models I expect from you guys, where you're going to spend a couple lessons doing this, but I'm going to do my best just to move around the outline of my car quickly. So as you get to the wheels on your blueprint, the way I've approached it is by laying down lines first on one side of the wheel and then on the opposite side, and then taking the 2-point arc, connecting both lines and moving the arc upward so it matches half of the circumference of the wheel. You're going to do that because we're going to try and add in some wheels which rotate on our model car. As you lay down the final lines in the process or during the process of outlining your car, what you should see is the shape filling in a light gray tone. What you can then do is select it and move it off of the blueprint just to the side. You're going to repeat the same steps for the top view, but this time what you're going to want to do is just model half of the car. That's going to save you time. So once you've outlined half of the top of your car, you can take the shape and move it off of the blueprint into the side, and then you're going to outline half of the front of your car for this next step. Once the step is completed, you can take the shape you outlined and move it off of the blueprint, so you should have 3 separate sections of your car. Group all 3 sections by selecting flat plane and then saying select all connected, right click, and then say make a group, and repeat this step. Once you've grouped all 3 sections, you can begin moving them around. So select the side view, select the frontmost point, move it onto the top section that you outlined earlier. You're then going to want to take the rotate tool, move it onto the frontmost point, and rotate it 90 degrees in a horizontal direction. Once you've found the correct alignment between the side view and the top view, move the side view slightly to the left, like so. What you're then going to do is select the top down view, right click on it to explode it, and extrude it upwards to a point which is higher than the side view of the car. Then what you want to do is highlight the side view of the car, right click on it and explode it, and then move it into the portion we just worked with earlier. Once your model looks like this, and it's going to be more precise than the way I aligned it because you're going to spend more time doing it, highlight everything, right click, select all connected, and then right click again, say intersect faces with model, and then we can begin shaping the form of our car by deleting some lines. Begin by deleting the lines which extend past this plane right here that's highlighted. Take the eraser tool and just slowly work around your model. You're going to want to zoom into certain parts of it, and be sure to delete only those sections which our excess to the form of the car. So this can be deleted away at this point. I believe just slowly working around my vehicle, and you will see the form of the car, or half of the car, start to appear. After you've cleaned up your car model and deleted unnecessary lines, arrange the front cross section of the vehicle so it is lined as follows. What you can then do is highlight the group, right click on it, explode it, and extrude it through the entirety of your vehicle like this. Once this has been completed, you can highlight everything, right click, select intersect faces with model, and then you can begin the process of cleaning up your model once again, deleting unnecessary lines. Once you've cleaned up your model once again and also repaired any holes in the mesh, highlight everything, right click on it and make it a group, duplicate it by Command C and then Command V. You're going to want to flip this along, not blue, I believe it is actually flipping along green. Once this is complete, take a corner point and match it up with the front. So now you have a completed car body. Highlight everything, right click, explode, and then highlight everything once again, right click, intersect faces with model. And there we have our completed car body. Now all we have to do is add the wheels and the axles. So the first step in creating the axle for your vehicle involves creating a rectangular cube, such as the one that I have highlighted here, which does not extend too far out on either the left side of your vehicle or the right. Once you've established the correct size for the rectangular cube, you can move it outside of your model. The reason I can move it inside and out is because it's grouped now. I'm going to have to explode it to ungroup it for this next step. You're going to want to create an X pattern on each face of the rectangular cube, and the reason we're going to do that is to establish the midpoint. So I'm just taking the line tool and I'm laying down some lines. What you can then do is place two circles on the midpoint. That's 38 millimeters as the radius. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. This time I'm going to type in 38 to get the correct dimensions, and then I'm going to delete the X pattern away from inside each of the circular shapes I drew on the surfaces of my rectangular cube. Alright, so now it's time to extrude out the shafts where our wheels are going to be slipped onto. Just for precision's sake, I'm going to highlight the rectangular cube and group it again and move it back into the vehicle, or the underside of the vehicle created earlier. I'm going to line up the block with the midpoint, and then I'm going to go ahead and measure what distance we have between the exterior portion of the car leading into the first edge of the cube. And right now it's 147 millimeters, around that length. So I'll remove this now, and what I'm going to do is I will extrude out each of these circles once I explode it. 147. So I'm going to start pushing it out, type in 147, enter, and I'm going to do the same thing from the other side. Grab the shape, push it outwards, type in 147, enter. Alright, now that this is done, I can highlight it all and group it. I'm going to duplicate it, right click, I'm going to do a Command C, Command V to copy it. I'm going to place it here. I'm going to go ahead now, take the move tool, select tool first, then move. Select the midpoint of the group, move it to the midpoint of your car, like so. I'm then going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Select the object, select the move tool, select the midpoint, and move it to the underside of your vehicle. So here we have both of the axles in place. What I'll then do is highlight everything, explode the objects, highlight everything once again, right click, intersect faces with model. This will allow all the different components to be connected. Creating wheels for your car is relatively easy. The first thing you need to do is figure out what the radius of the axle is again. And I do know that the radius is 38. So on the flat portion between our green and red lines in the SketchUp interface, take the circle tool, create a circle with a radius of 38, and lay it down. You're then going to want to offset this slightly so the wheel is able to actually rotate around the shaft. It's not going to be wedged on too tightly. Offset that circle by a good amount, at least 2 millimeters, if not more. Delete the internal circle. Then what you need to do is offset this circle once again to whatever thickness we want for our tire, and I'm just going to guesstimate that that's a pretty good size right there. So once this is done, I can select the external area, extrude it upwards, and there I have my wheel. Make sure to delete this portion. So here's the final version of the car I created for this tutorial. I've inserted 4 wheels onto my model, positioned them how they would look if the car was actually created. Notice how there are some issues with the alignment of the shafts and also the wheels extending too far up into the top of the car. That's why you're going to want to take some time to organize your objects and measure them correctly. But hopefully this gives you an idea of where to start and what expectations are for creating a toy car which rolls along the table.